But I was wearing a suit, Part 2. Experiences of Indigenous peoples accessing the justice system. But I was wearing a suit is a grassroots project of a group of Indigenous lawyers with the support of the Continuing Legal Education Society of British Columbia, the Law Society of BC, and the Union of BC Indian Chiefs. An earlier project asked about Indigenous lawyers' experiences within the legal profession. That short documentary ended with the question, if this is how Indigenous lawyers are treated in the legal system, what does this say about how the legal system treats Indigenous people in general? This is part 2 of that project. We intend to further discussion about the way Indigenous peoples experience the law and justice processes. To encourage discussion about stereotyping and bias within the justice system, we asked for stories about Indigenous peoples' experiences of microaggressions or micro-discriminations. Over 50 people responded to the survey. Of those not comfortable submitting videos, their stories are read by others to protect their anonymity.
All of these experiences happened to me while I worked at Crown Council. I was accused of being drunk during the lunch hour. What actually happened was I was coming back from lunch in Gastown wearing heels and I stumbled on the cobblestones. I was not intoxicated. I was accused of working in the sex trade. What actually happened was I was walking to meet co-workers for lunch. I was just a block away from the courthouse when a man pulled up and propositioned me for sex. Someone saw this happen, and when I returned from lunch, I was accused of working in the sex trade on my lunch hour.
Before I started law school, my community was in court for protecting a sacred site. I attended to support my community. The judge kicked out an Indigenous woman because she was wearing a camouflage jacket. She was not doing anything disruptive, just sitting there quietly, and was asked to leave. She asked why, and the judge said he believed the camouflage clothing was militant. She offered to remove her jacket, but 2 bailiffs removed her from the courtroom.
I'm a third-year student. This happened to be in my second year. I'm co-salish from the village of Musqueam, Shaquemoch, and Silks. So I was part of the Indigenous Community Legal Clinic, and we were going in to watch a criminal trial for our training for criminal law. So I guess because they were concerned about the safety of the sheriff in this case, because the accused had assaulted a police officer, only law students were allowed to sit behind the sheriff. And the supporters of the accused were to sit on the other side of the courtroom. So it's about the second day of the trial. I'd been going for 2 days, and we were coming back on the lunch break, and we were filing in. Our whole class would get into a line and file one by one into the door, and then tuck around the corner to the seats behind the sheriff. When we were going in, I was about the middle of the line, and I was easily the most identifiable Indigenous person there, despite the fact that I was wearing a suit and I had makeup on, and I was trying really well to look presentable and look the part of a law student. The sheriff grabbed my elbow and pulled me aside and told me to sit on this side. And I said, why? He said, supporters of the accused sit on this side. And I said, I'm not supporting the accused. And he said to me, you need to sit on this side quite a bit more firmly. And I said, I'm a law student. And when he kind of continued to push me a little, 2 of my Caucasian friends came and thankfully saved me and said, well, no, she's a law student. She's sitting with us. She's with the Indigenous Community Legal Clinic. And without a word, he let go of me and turned away. So yeah, that's my story.
My legal aid family lawyer asked me if I was stupid for remaining in an abusive relationship while my child was young. They also commented on how nice I looked for court. They looked genuinely surprised. Since the lawyer was legal aid, I felt like I couldn't speak against them. I thought I needed to be grateful that a lawyer agreed to act on my behalf for free and that I should just keep quiet.
I was told by numerous lawyers, court reporters, and a few judges upon confirming my heritage, you're very articulate. When elders are testifying, audible sighs, conspicuous watch checking by judges.
So often I see interruption, or commonly I'm confronted as counsel of, Ms. Rauch, please direct your witness or control your witness, or, Ms. Rauch, your client is doing something, please control that. Sometimes when an Indigenous client or witness doesn't answer a question directly, for example, and kind of begins to tell a story, and I know they're going to answer the question, but they kind of go about it from a different angle than a direct answer, the court or tribunal or opposing counsel can become impatient or try to put a stop to that kind of an answer. So that's probably the most commonly way that I've experienced what I would call a microaggression, and it happens a lot. It happens so much that I expect it.
What does this say about how the legal system treats Indigenous people in general?